Well, when Cam Schutte and the committee asked me to be MC, that's how I felt. Surprised. You all, however, are probably shocked. And for good reason, because I'm vice president for life, but we do, or did, have a president, Chip Smeltzer. So you have to wonder, why isn't Chip Smeltzer up here tonight? Well, that's a sad story, actually. Chips went to the University of Missouri Law School and was, before that, in 1963, elected our president. But Chips takes the position that he was only elected for 50 years. And beginning June 5th, 1963, at our graduation and blowout party at Blue Hills, and it ended last June. And notwithstanding all the legal opinions we've given Chips, he has been adamant, stubborn, narrow-minded about this, and insisted he was only elected 50 years. Now, I don't want to face this situation at our 60th or 75th or 100th, okay? So do I hear a nomination for Chip Smeltzer for president for life? It's been seconded. It's been nominated. Do we hear by acclamation electing Chip Smeltzer president for life in the 1950s? Hey! Chips, your term doesn't start till tomorrow, so I'll get him back up here. But first, I would like to call upon the stage one at a time the three gentlemen who've had the most visibility and responsibility for putting this weekend's reunion together. I'd like for them to mention the folks who've helped them and come up and take a bow. I'd first like to have Cam Schutte come up. Okay? Now, is it any wonder that Cam is heading this up in his own way? President of the Student Council, Sis Arnold Award winner, and who was known to have a nickname in high school of Rowdy. Take it over. Rowdy.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Some people have asked me how I got this job. I think Sonny just said who it was, right? So, yes. And I made a comment last night that Chips happened to be standing behind me, and I said, well, to somebody else, well, Chips actually shamed me into this. And he says, I did a damn good job, you know? So anyway, it started with a meeting a little over a year ago, and here we are tonight. And a lot of things have happened in the meantime. I guess one of the reasons that I got into this situation is because I'm in the web business, and it made it very easy to start something that people could learn about the reunion, participate, register for it, and so that's how it started. Of course, as you all know now, it's gone a long way past that. We've talked about the reconnects, and that's certainly been wonderful. I've heard from so many people that they've gotten in touch with people they haven't heard from in years. There's one for me sitting across the room here. Cooper McWhorter and I were fabulous friends. We kind of lost touch. He called me a couple months ago, and that was a real highlight for me of having gotten involved in this.
I call collect.
Oh, you? Yeah. Anyway, so I had to recognize that, and I also have to recognize his wife, who convinced him that it was time to do this. You know, so Sammy gets a lot of credit for making this happen. I just want to give you a couple of statistics that I think is really interesting as to how this thing has evolved. Tonight we have 137 people here. When I look at what we've done with the website, we had right now we have 222 people who have signed up and are part of the directory, are aware of everything that's going on. Tonight we have people here, or the reunion, people attending 22 different states. It's really quite impressive when I look at the numbers. We also have a lot of people that we know we've gotten in touch with who didn't care to participate. They weren't able to, or they whatever. But we know we've reached almost everybody that's still alive. And a lot of that credit goes to a gentleman by the name of Jim McFerrin. And I know you were going to call him up here. Jim, where are you? Come on, Jim. We wouldn't have been successful, but while he's getting up here, I'll tell you, we wouldn't have been successful if it wasn't for his efforts at research. He has spent a year diligently going after finding all of our classmates.
He knows more about it than we know.
Yes. So Jim also is quite conversational, and I've asked him to hold his remarks down a little bit. So go ahead, Jim.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank all of you for coming and helping each other find an interest in coming and attending. As I've talked to various classmates, they said, well, I was talking to her, I was talking to him, and I kept calling, and you need to come, you need to come, you need to come, and just like Sammy with Cooper McWhorter. So we're all part of the class, and we all work together. We had 4 prime people who called. That's Marianne Culver, Don Hilgert, Pat Taylor McClinch, and Rusty Davidson, who took the data that we assembled and then reached out, called people, left messages, followed up with other phone calls. In total, we had about 420 in our class. We have several members here tonight. Saw David Gale. There were a bunch of people who left us before graduating at Southwest and went to Shawnee Mission East or other places. But the issue is that they have all come back and felt a part of our class of 1963, have joined our website, and have attended last night and tonight. And so that's the importance of what a great group of people we were. So thank you all for coming, and thank you all for your support.
I want to talk about Bob Woodley.
Oh, okay. One of our classmates, Dennis Woodling, is in Marietta, Georgia, and couldn't attend tonight. His older brother, Bob, was a member of the class of 61, and he worked on finding the classmates of the class of 61 and then assisted in 62. And we began a dialogue last fall. He lives in Seattle, and so he has been an important part of our effort in finding people, tracking people down. If you're interested in how we've tracked you down, I can give you some techniques. But Bob Woodling was a very important part of our process. His wife, Ann Morgan, is also a 61 graduate, and from that standpoint, and they, as it relates to Mr. Woods, who came last night, it was they that worked with Mr. Woods 2 years ago, and he stayed in touch. And when I mentioned to Mr. Woods last night I was a friend of the Woodlings, he said, oh, Bob and Ann are wonderful, and they're so great and stuff like that. So Bob Woodling has been a part of helping this come together, and also in getting Mr. Woods to come last night. So thanks again for coming.
Jim, don't go too far away, okay? You and Cam stay close by. I think we need to get George Cook up here, too, another key member of this group, all right? George, a few words.
Obviously, you didn't come here to listen to me anyway, so all I can say is this guy over here did it all. And, he kind of directed us to do this and that and the other thing, but for the most part, Cam's the guy that made this happen. And I can't tell you the hours that he's put into this, and everybody here owes him a tremendous vote of gratitude. So. I also, Carol Dart Farrell. Carol went above and beyond. She had some tragic events happen in the middle of all the planning and stayed in and stayed with us and worked hard. And bless you, we appreciate your help. Mary Lou McClellan Browse also participated. Mary Lou, her husband had a retreat this weekend, and they had to go to the Broadmoor in Colorado Springs, so they couldn't attend. Phyllis Biederman, Rufo, where's Phyllis? And speaking of people that left us and went to Shawnee Mission East, I didn't even know that. But anyway, she did. But she came back. She was responsible for the centerpieces. She worked diligently on a lot of decorations and that sort of thing. And Judy Czar, where's Judy? Barb. And Barb, yeah, Barb Mylands, where's Barb? Okay. So anyway, thank everybody that participated and everybody that worked on this. Don Hilgert came down for meetings on a regular basis from Lincoln. Rusty Davidson helped us with setups and breakdowns and all that sort of thing. So it's been a great experience. It's been fun to see everybody, and thanks everybody for coming. And I'm going to turn it back over to our Vice President for Life.
For life.
For life.
You all, Jim, don't leave. Stay close by. Well, for each of them, we have a very modest token of appreciation, but each one has to be advised in advance that one token or gift or recognition is uplifting, and the other one might be called degrading. So as I call each one of them up there, they're going to tell us in advance whether they want the uplifting one first or the other one first. So George, please step forward. Would you like your uplifting or your degrading recognition first?
Degrading would probably be best. I wasn't one of the stellar graduates from Southwestern. I was elected nothing.
The tour turned out very nice this morning because we got into the teacher's lounge and they still had the bar soap that they cleaned George's mouth out with for the degrading. Oh, there you go, George. What luck, huh?
I do remember that.
Now the more uplifting one. Another thing that Tom Kipp did for us as part of the Interscholastic League was the football field, the track, none of those have any names. And we went through all the hoops we had to go through, including aerial photographs, including permissions to the school district, and Tom Kipp was so helpful. We are here tonight to announce that the Southwest High School track has now been renamed the George Cook Memorial Track, and we have a photo to prove it. There you go. Is that uplifting or what? Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. McFerrin is next. You two have a choice whether you want.
I want a downer.
All right, he wants the downer first. Okay. This was a guy in high school who belonged to every single club but one that he never got into. He wasn't called Mr. Pepe for nothing, right, Mr. Pepe? So tonight, we have been able to secure a patch, an emblem, a verified signal that he is now a member of the only club he was never in at Southwest. It reads, Southwest High School, Kansas City, Missouri, ROTC. The more uplifting one is a $63 gift certificate from Starbucks. Okay, good.
Ron,
Oh, right.
and this is an apology to Carol, Dark Carol. Carol was an important part of making calls and worked through and contacted a lot of people and got a lot of people involved. And so my apologies, Carol, for not including your name. when I,
Take her to Starbucks. Cam, what is your choice?
I'm going to stay in the same vein.
Okay.
Let's go with
All right.
the downer.
The downer. Well, one of Cam's hobbies in past years was killing waterfowl. Is there a better way of putting that? Hunting?
Hunting.
Okay, hunting. He has seen the light and he no longer does this, but we have been very fortunate that in the years 1982, 1983, and 1984, there were actual drawings made of the waterfowl he killed. And they've been put on waterfowl stamps for $7.50. We bought 3 of them, and we have for Cam the 1982, the 1983, the 1984 waterfowl stamps for $7.50 each, and he can look at the birds he slaughtered. The more uplifting one is a gift certificate at his favorite restaurant, as we understand it.
Well, thank you very much.
Okay,
All
okay.
right. What is it? Well, we're going to find out here. Bonefish Grill. And George Cook must have told somebody.
You bet.
All right.
All right, now, we want you to stay here just for another moment because I'm going to ask the class to do something this class has never done before. You can reject it if you want to, and we'll just put it on Chips's influence, I guess. But I would like to recommend to the class that for the first time in our history, we make an honorary member of our class. And I suggest it be Shirley Schutte, who did more than anybody I've ever seen. Do I hear a motion? Do I hear a second? Do I hear an acclamation? Shirley Schutte, honorary member of the class of 1963. And the only thing orange we could find were pumpkins and chocolates. Any words?
No, I'm just glad to be a part of it.
Okay, thank you very much. Fantastic.